Hi, my name is Simone Ashley, and I'm doing a short submission of video number 5 to our class, Critical Thinking. Today, we're going to be talking about Neil Postman's Amazing Ourselves to Death. Some of the questions he has asked about today's television. One, to what degree do you share Postman's convictions regarding the use of television in those realms? I'm going to do them one by one, and I'm going to answer the first questions. I totally agree with Postman when he talks about the use of television, how it has become our world, where it has been a distraction to the point where we are off track with the things of God and what we're supposed to do on our assignment. I really believe that um, television, from since it has been invented, um, for those who are Christians, we have been consumed by television programs, and we have been distracted by some of these um, television programs. And so I agree with Postman because Postman says here, when he talks about television, he says, um, he says in chapter 10, which I'm going to read for you really quickly, if I can find it. He says that he gives us these little points. He says television offers a delicious and, as I have said, original alternative to all of this. We might say there are three commandments that form the philosophy of the education which television offers. The influence of these commandments is observable to every type of television programming, from Sesame Street to the documentaries of Nova and the National Geographic to Fantasy Island to MTV. The commandments are as follows: Thou shalt have no prerequisites. Every television program must be a complete package in itself. Thou shalt induce no perplexity. In television, teaching perplexity is a superhighway to low ratings. And then he has number 3: Thou shalt avoid exposition like the 10 plagues visited upon Egypt. Of all the enemies of television teaching, including continually and perplexity, none is more formidable than exposition. And I totally agree with Postman when he says that. I totally agree. Two, why does Postman feel that we should emphasize Huxley rather than Orwell in trying to understand the plight of America's culture? See, with with Orwell's view on everything is very small, very minute. Like, television is not a big deal. Television is not a problem. But with Huxley's prophecies is much more. When he prophesied, he said television is going to be some major project. He said it's going to be like a major project, like the enemy is giving you something with a big smile on his face. And I really believe that we have entered into an era where television is taking up more of our time than what we are supposed to be doing. And so Huxley says that in his he says that he says what Huxley teaches is that in the age of advanced technology, spiritual devastation is more likely to come from an enemy with a smiling face than from one whose countenance exudes suspicion and hate. In the Huxleyan prophecy, Big Brother does not watch us by his choice. We watch him by ours, which is true. Where we we're so um, we're so drawn into television that it's like a habit that we cannot put down. It's like a drug that we can't stop taking. Television has consumed us so much that we're so enticed by it. And so he's saying, we think that that television is the problem, but it's not really so much not so much television is the problem, but we are the problem that is being drawn to the television. And so I totally agree. I totally agree with that. When he says that, he says in America, Orwell's prophecies are of small relevance, but Huxley's are well underway toward being realized. For America is engaged in the world's most ambitious experiment to accommodate itself to the technological distractions made possible by the electric plug. He says that the plug was the major problem because without the plug, there will not be a TV. The TV wouldn't be able to be cut on. So the major problem, the root of the problem, is even the invention of the plug, which I found to be hilarious. To be honest, I found it to be hilarious, because I know that television can be a distraction. I know that television can be a problem to some, but it also can be relaxing to some. Like minds can be people minds can be just digress while watching television. But the truth is, there's no boundary into what we call digression and obsession. We can digress and cut off the TV and be fine. But then there are some that are addicted to shows, addicted to different things, which causes our mind to elude to somewhere else instead of the focus where God wants us to come, wants us to be. So I totally agree that he foresaw that television would be a major problem to us Christians, who are definitely on assignment. And the third last question is, how should J.P. Moreland's insight with respect to the empty self be applied to these issues, and what should be the role of the church in attempting to reverse the cultural realities lamented by Postman? We literally need to be more occupied in God. Of course, with the empty self applied to it, it's just that we should literally get in our word, stay focused in God, and learn and know that, and learn not to be so distracted, but to keep occupied in the things of God. Um, yeah, and that's really what I have to say about this overall, about Neil Postman's Amazing Ourselves to Death. I hope that this video kind of gives some clarity on what television is, what the reality is of television, how we can become more focused on the things of God. I really recommend this book because it really shows us that entertainment, through media, social media, television, can be detrimental to our spiritual life if we don't know how to control what we consume from television. It teaches us that, yes, it's here for entertainment, but if we get so involved in the fact, into the fact where we are so consumed by it, we can lose our way. Television can become our God. You know, Programs that we miss can become our God. We can rush home to um to to see our favorite program and get mad if it's not there. So we need to just learn how to control ourselves when it comes to consuming of the television. I hope you guys be blessed.